Yes, sometimes your initial, this way, sometimes your initial birds are going to look a little wonky, right? But you just keep practicing, and you will figure out like what marks what marks look best, what lines you really gravitate towards. This past month has been very trying. I'll just say it like that. It's been very trying. And so my nervous system, my ability to be creative has really been focused on birds, dogs, salamanders, and frogs. And so I have no idea why why my current practice is centered on these particular subjects, but that's the part of that's the intuitive part of the creative practice. Sometimes you just gotta go with it, you know. There are some other kind of motifs and symbols that I've also continuously been practicing too, like Venus flytraps are a particular flower or plant really, that I've drawn quite a bit in my sketches. Salamanders are definitely, another big part, but I don't want to get lost in the weeds because I don't want this video to be like super, super long. And as you can see, I have my cup of coffee here. So I want to get to my coffee. But I wanted to show you all just kind of the evolution of some of my line making. I talked about these doggies in the video that says, that I'm making a postcard. So if you want more of a deeper dive into what I'm doing with this particular project, you can definitely check that out. But one of the things that I mentioned in that video was the difference that I saw between these two dogs. So like these lines are just kind of straight down in the same direction. And then these lines are more of like curly cues and squiggles. And so that is the difference between these two related to marks. And then this one has a combination. I keep making that thing fall. This one has the combination of those kind of lines where it's straight down. I wonder if y'all can see that, where it's straight down, but then there's also like these curly Q, lines as well. So I really, really like the combination of the lines. So both the straight marks or straight lines and the curly cues combined. And I can show you that ends up for me looking like this, where there are straight lines like here in the face, right? But then on the body, there is a combination where there are straight lines, but mostly the like curly Q kind of line marks are pretty prominent. I'm trying to start drawing and I'm not very good. One of the things that was helpful for me was actually looking at beginner YouTube videos. So if you have like a particular subject that you really like to draw initially, I would look for beginner videos around that and just practice that. So when I first started out and I was looking for beginner videos, I was really into drawing like expressive faces, expressive portraits. So I look for beginner videos that talked about you know, how to draw loose faces, because I'm not a realistic, I don't draw realistically. Like that's not my goal. To get better at being realistic. My goal is to get better at expressive drawing. You know, being able to create mood and atmosphere with the things that I draw. So, yeah, like that's for me. That's what I did, and I will say, you know, you hear this so much, and it's true, you know, that practice, it definitely takes practice. And a lot of folks start practicing by, you know, doing like these challenges and everything. I will say I have drawn every day, multiple times a day since November, December of last year, but I could not, I'm the type of person that I can't, it can't be like a goal. Like I can't say, I'm gonna draw every day. It just kind of happened like that. And if you check out my channel, you will see that a lot of my practice is connected to my anxiety, my complex PTSD. So for me, it was a wellness move to draw and create every day. So that was the motivator for me to be able to do that. So yeah. Okay, so those are the marks. Let me see. The other things that I can show y'all, even like based on what I was just sharing about practice, is like I draw the same thing over and over again, and I draw it in different colors. I vary the lines, you know, sometimes there aren't any marks in them, like this one is just the circles, you know, the shapes or whatever, but then this one has the shapes and some of the line in it, right? And then this one, it doesn't have any of the shapes on the inside. It just has the lines, right? So I will, and this is supposed to be a marble salamander. So I will do the same thing over and over again, create the same subject, and just see, you know, if I can get better at doing those things. Let's see, this is an example of a salamander that is kind of realistic. I was very surprised at myself when I did this one, because this is, I would say, not necessarily my style, because I feel like it's relatively realistic. But these are at the top of this video. I talked about Venus flytraps being another, you know, motif or symbol, that subject that shows up a lot in my work. So let's see. And then let's see, this is the bird, another example of a cardinal that I drew. And my process related to drawing these different animals and things like that is I will usually put down a base of like watercolor. And then I'll use neocolor or color pencils on top. So that's what this is. And then, let's see, I could show y'all. Oh, here's some more dogs. I can show y'all these dogs. Another example of same subject, just done like very different, you know, different ways. You know, these aren't necessarily time drawings, but this one I spent a shorter amount of time on. These are a little bit, you know, took a little bit longer for me to draw, or sketch out really quickly. And then same thing here, working and using different like line variations, and also, you know, getting imaginative and pushing myself with the color palette, right? Just to see, you know, what does a dog look like that's blue and pink? You know, what does a dog look like that has like a hot pink foundation, right? And then mostly these colors. So what else can I show y'all? This is not in the title. This is just an example of like varying my line drawings. I mean my lines and marks as well. Like even in a image like this, right? Some of the other things that I've been exploring with the line making, I also like the color palette. You know, like what colors do I like? Some more Venus flytraps, just some quick sketches of Venus flytraps. But this purple finch is a bird that is continually coming up in my work now because I really like its natural colors. It's a pink bird. Let's see. This is also a purple finch, but I did it in some different colors. Um, in my really big sketchbook, this is a lizard. In my sketchbook, my really big one, I have a whole spread of birds, but I haven't finished that yet. Okay, here's some more purple finches. Um, I really like this one. Let's see. I really like this one because of the color palette. Um, you do animals and anime too. Okay, yeah. I mean, there's so many people on here, you know, that draw anime. And definitely have like beginner tutorials. I really like what I really like about this purple finch is I've started to do some continuous line drawing for the body and then going into the wings here. And then you can see, because I drew this one first. And then because I really liked the continuous line drawing, I recreated that here as well. And that's what you have to do, you know, like sometimes it's not gonna look great, but there's so much information even in the things that you practice, right? So here we've got just a spread with a lot of different characters. But again, I'm practicing like my lines and my marks, but then also how I'm combining neocolors and color pencils on top of each other, right? How do I use that combination? The other thing that I'm playing with too is when do I fill in the color and then when do I just leave it with just the outline, right? So like even this is an example. I just did a really quick sketch of like a dragonfly, right? And didn't color that in. And so like how do you balance when you fully draw or color in a subject and a composition, and then when do you just kind of sketch it out? Because I like that balance where some things are colored all the way in and then some things are just left as a sketch. Let's see. The other thing I can say about this page too. Now this turtle is a ridiculous turtle. Okay, it's bad. It's not good as it relates to what a turtle, and because even here, like I like this turtle better than this one, the way that it looks. But the thing that I love about this turtle though, I love the color combinations. I love the way that I did the lines in this one. Again, I'm using these straight lines that are kind of in the same direction, like even these lines. But then there's this combination of these squiggles, right? But I love this purple green, and then I think this is a brown. I love that together. Let's see. What else can I show y'all? Here I got some more little ugly sketches, but that's okay. Um, I've got some mushrooms here. These are some other kind of recurring symbols and motifs in my work as well. These are sweet potatoes. I love to draw sweet potatoes. So I draw them in different colors. These are also mushrooms, trying to get some different shaped mushrooms in the rotation, because a lot of the times I would draw like these and then these ones down here. But I like these shapes up here too. Okay, and then is this the last page? I think this is the last page. Okay. Um, Again, still just like practicing, practicing my line work. I really, really like this frog. I love the colors on this one. I also love the variation in the lines. I don't remember what these birds are called, but I again continuing the same process of continue when I get ready to draw the body of the bird to do continuous lines to do that, as opposed to just shading it in. I think that well, I know it does. It adds what is it called? It makes the piece more interesting, right? Instead of just again just filling in the color like I did here, doing it as sketching the body of the bird as continuous line. Yeah, I think it makes it more visually interesting. And again, still playing here with straight lines or lines that go in the same direction, little squiggle lines up here, and then leaving some places not filled in with the color. Okay. So, one of my takeaways from allowing myself to be open to this kind of practice, and meaning I usually am more focused on like portraits and drawing people, and again more in an expression focused, not realistic, right? But for some reason this month, and then June into this all of this month, I have been really, really honed in on animals for some reason. And again, like frogs, lizards, birds. So I've just been going with it. And I think that that's important because it's been helpful for me to explore my line and mark making in more of an intuitive, enjoyable way. These are the things that I'm being drawn to sketch. So instead of resisting that and fighting it, I'm going to do that while also still incorporating some of the other elements that I'm still trying to get better at, which is my line and mark making, right? So that's kind of my takeaway related to this, is that when we go with the flow, follow our intuition related to our creative practice and not resist all the elements, you know, that creates a moment where you can get some valuable information. And so for me, the valuable information and allowing myself to explore these kinds of subjects is I know like what kind of lines I like to make now. I know that I really love a combination of straight and squiggly lines. I love to put watercolor on the base and then use neocolors and color pencils on top. Um, and yeah, and I love a continuous line drawing to shape out the body of the subject as well. Um, and so, yeah, those are my takeaways. And maybe that'll be helpful, for you as you sit down for your own creative practice. Think about the places that you are resisting and then the places that you can just let go and allow yourself to explore because it's all valuable information.